All right, everybody. It's Shaboy. Neville started the show with that, and I don't know why I chose to tonight, but maybe it's because we're a little giddy about the news that we have to announce. As always, I am Jordan Hawthorne. I'm joined as always by Jack Day, and welcome in to Load the Box. Tonight, we're going to be doing a little Monday Night Football preview as the Minnesota Vikings travel to Chicago all the way down. I think, how far away is Chicago from Minnesota, Jack? Like a couple hours?
Six hours,
Oh,
give or
really?
take. Yep.
Really? I always think Minnesota is a lot closer to Ohio and, Indiana and all this than it actually is. But, they're traveling down to the great state of Illinois to play Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football, and all the narratives will be at play. Cousins in prime time, the Vikings on grass, the Vikings after, back-to-back big wins. I don't know. There's a ton of narratives. I'm sure there's some weird stat about how Mike Zimmer has never won after winning 2 games in the division on the road in Chicago. Vikings fans dig deep to find ways to be pessimistic, and I kind of like that about the fan base and the franchise. But Jack, I'm gonna ask you two things this week. Number one, how has your week been since we last talked on air Sunday night? And two, what's this big news that our social media is pushing so hard? What's going on this week that you want to tell the people about?
Yeah, the week has been really good, and I think the news that we've received this just today now has made that week even better. We still don't have a complete time. I know I tweeted out we had a time confirmed, but it didn't sound like it's going to work. So we're going to try to do something that sounds like it's going to be Central Time between somewhere in the range of 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. We're just kind of working through some stuff with BYU's communications department, but it has been confirmed. Zach Wilson, potential, or I shouldn't even say potential. This kid is skyrocketing up draft boards right now. And we are going to have him unload the box. We're going to have 10 to 15 minutes where we just kind of ask him some questions, see how things are going for him. Obviously, they're coming off of a huge win as well. They haven't played a ton of ranked opponents, but they just got their first win at Boise State, and Zach Wilson played phenomenal. I think they killed them it's like 51-17. They absolutely crushed them. So we are super excited. I know if you listen to the show, we are both pretty high on Zach Wilson. We both talked about him probably every week we do the show.
Oh
So
yeah, this is definitely the
we
Zach Wilson podcast now.
yeah, we are super excited. And originally it sounded like we are gonna have to do it, or I was gonna have to do it solo because Jordan is doing he has his rehearsal dinner for his wedding tomorrow. So I thought we were just trying to figure out all the technology stuff. Sounds like both Jordan and myself are going to be on tomorrow, and it's going to be sometime midday. So mark your calendars. If you're working, bring some headphones with you because it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, and it will be available to watch after the fact on YouTube. I know it's a Friday. I'm sure, not everybody has a lenient woke that will let them slap some earbuds in to listen to maybe the future Vikings quarterback. Talk to a couple Vikings fans like us. But definitely a huge interview tomorrow. Really excited I can be there. It's definitely like, it was secretly crushing my soul that I had to go to my rehearsal dinner. And, I wasn't going to publicly say that, but now I can because I am going to get to do it. So I get to have my cake and eat it too. Really excited to talk to him, get his outlook on the rest of his season, get his viewpoints on the draft process, and kind of just, I'm not going to lie. We don't want to be too fanboyish about it, but I mean, I got to ask him, does the thought of playing with Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, and Dalvin Cook or Evans engine at all? I mean, is that an exciting prospect to play in this offense with our revamped offensive line? Or does he want to go to a team like the Jets and be the savior? It's kind of, those interesting perspectives. There's a lot of stuff that goes on during draft season. Really happy to talk with him. I'm sure we will pull clips from that come draft season whenever every mock draft we do has the Vikings trading up from wherever they pick into the top 10 to take Zach Wilson. But yeah, really excited about that. I'm sure we will be blowing up all over social media about that tonight and tomorrow, trying to just get as many eyes on it as we can. And like I said, it will be available to watch after the fact on YouTube, on our Facebook. And I'm sure we'll, clip it and throw segments up on Twitter and all of that. So that's tomorrow. and we have a game to focus on tonight. So tonight, not as exciting as interviewing a top 10 draft pick, but still exciting because the Vikings are on a little bit of a hot streak. They are maybe the best team in football right now. That's obviously a little bit of hyperbole, but they are what, 3-5 now?
Three
They
and
have
five. Yep.
I believe they have the second or third easiest schedule remaining in the NFL, which means they have a chance to maybe pull a 2016 or 17 Chiefs and start, 1-5, and then skyrocket to like 11-5 and make the playoffs. Now, there's interesting takes about what the Vikings could do in the playoffs. There's interesting takes about all of that, but we're probably not going to get into those tonight. Tonight, we just want to focus one game at a time. So let's talk about the Chicago Bears. Really good defense, really bad offense. That's my breakdown. Jack, what are you looking at in this Chicago team? What are some, and what are some things you want to talk about, man?
Well, honestly, I know the Bears' offense has struggled, and I mean, I'm not overly terrified of their offensive unit as a whole. Their defense scares me a lot more. For the first time in forever, how long? I know the Vikings haven't been playing. I mean, I'd say the Green Bay Packers defensive line is pretty solid, but they walked all over the Detroit Lions last week, and Dalvin Cook had a phenomenal game, but I'm really excited. I know we talk about this on a regular basis. I'm excited to watch the battle of the trenches in this game. And I'm not even saying that I'm not. Normally, you bring up the Minnesota Vikings and you bring up the battle of the trenches. You're talking about the John Randos, the Jared Allens, the Williams brothers, and then Daniil Hunter. Unique Ngakoue is gone now. Daniil Hunter's hurt, and we have a lot of young guys on that defensive line. I'm actually most excited to watch how our offensive line handles that front seven of the Chicago Bears. I'm extremely excited to see. I mean, we've seen a lot of progress out of Ezra Cleveland since his first start against Atlanta. We've seen Delvin Cook absolutely be on a roll and win back-to-back NFC Offensive Player of the Weeks, and kind of slowly he's trajectorying himself into the MVP conversation. I know it's difficult to bring that up because the MVP award, it really should be the most valuable quarterback. That's really what it's gotten to. I know that it doesn't always happen that it's a quarterback, but it's extremely difficult to make the case that a guy like Dalvin Cook is as important to an offense as that Russell Wilson or Patrick Mahomes is. The thing that scares me is I say this offense is nothing to be scared about. I thought that same exact thing. Granted, their offense is a lot better, but Nick Foles, I still have nightmares about that guy. As a Vikings fan, I'm sure most Vikings fans are still scared of Nick Foles and the things he did to the Vikings in Philly. And then I had to watch him beat Tom Brady. I thought, you know what? If I don't get to watch the Vikings in the one Super Bowl in my lifetime that I get to work, at least I get to potentially watch the greatest quarterback of all time beat the team that beat our Minnesota Vikings. And you know what? Nick Foles went out and beat Tom Brady straight up. And I had to eat that, and I had to listen to that Fly Eagles Fly song about 1,000 times. And it wasn't very fun. So obviously the narrative's there. I shouldn't even say the narrative. There's multiple narratives heading in this game. It's the Monday night Kirk. Also, this is a tangent, but have you seen the video of Kirk Cousins singing choir?
Oh my God, what's that song that he sings?
Today?
What is that?
I don't even remember. Pretty Woman.
Yes,
is the one
and he's
singing.
like, like he's just getting it, dude. I love it. I'm not kidding. He's going to be the greatest Monday Night Football commentator of all time. Line him up. He's the next John Gruden. He is such an entertaining, he's a great guy. I love Kirk Cousins, the guy. But as I will probably bring up tomorrow, it's time to move on. He's a good guy, but I believe this stat still stands true. Actually, I know it does. He's never won a Monday Night Football game. He's 1-2 in the playoffs. He just doesn't have that electricity. Now, your dad will be quick to point out that he does. He has looked good in these past two victories, but that's neither here nor there. But that's a great video. If you haven't seen it, we'll have to find it and retweet it from the Load the Box Twitter, so that way our 1,000 followers can get it.
But yeah, just kind of going off that, I'm really excited to watch another game. This is the type of game where the Vikings, this is the game where this Vikings season could completely turn around, because this is the hardest game that they have left on their schedule until they go into Tampa Bay. And we just saw Tampa Bay get absolutely annihilated by the Saints. Like, this Vikings schedule, I know I was very pessimistic and saying that the Vikings had no chance a couple weeks ago, and I'll eat my words because the Vikings have since. I didn't expect them to beat Green Bay. I thought that game against Detroit was going to be a little bit closer than it was, but Delvin is absolutely carrying this team. I should say Delvin and the offensive line are absolutely carrying this team right now. So I'm really excited to watch that, like I said, but I'm also excited to see this is the type of game where you can have a get right game where you can immediately stop the narrative of the Monday night stuff. You can stop the narrative of we already ended the outdoors grass narrative in Green Bay. If we can go in and this defense can somehow like do what they did last week and pick off a couple balls off of Nick Foles, I think this is a legitimate game where, like, let's say, for example, if Jeff Gladney gets his hands on a ball and in a great coverage play that we haven't really seen, starting to build that confidence up little by little. I still don't have the most faith that this is a team that's going to make any sort of run into the playoffs, but you get Jeff Gladney. I don't know if we're going to have Cameron Dancer back or not yet, but if you get those two young cornerbacks out there and their physicality, we still keep seeing that. And then we start to see it click a little bit in their coverage skills. And then you have Harrison Smith and Anthony Harris still back there. Like I said, I'm not going to get my hopes up too high, but this team is kind of doing what we expected them to do, kind of start slow out of the gates with all the young talent and all the changes in this system. We expected them to start a little bit slower given the offseason they had and all the young talent they have. Excuse me. It's starting to seem now that they got past that point in the season and now they're ready to roll. So I think we've learned that Dalvin Cook is the focal point of our offense, but that's okay. If Kirk Cousins only has to throw the ball 15 times and he's doing it very efficiently, I mean, he didn't have a bad game against Detroit. I know he didn't go out and put up Patrick Mahomes-like numbers, but when he was out there, he was making the throws he needed to make. He overthrew a couple long balls, but that's going to happen with any quarterback. So I'm excited about this one. I think it's always just kind of an eerie feeling going into Soldier Field because the Vikings just haven't had the best luck there in recent memory. So I think it's a good get-right game where they can kind of shut that narrative down and just kind of get back up on their feet.
Yeah, the last time the Vikings won in Soldier Field was in 2017 when Case Keenum was the quarterback and we were on that magic carpet ride with him. And I have the same cautious pessimism, I think, that you have going into this game, where it's like the Chicago defense is very good. The Vikings definitely want to take the ball out of Cousins' hands. They want Dalvin to go for $150 to 200 yards every week, plus a little extra with the screen game. And I'm just not confident in the Vikings in this game because like Khalil Mack, that defense in overall is just bad. Roquan Smith. I believe they still have Eddie Jackson, but that could be a name that I'm just, still having nightmares about because he's given us issues. Khalil Mack, I mean, they really on every phase of the defense or every level of the defense, they have guys that can just take over a game. And that's frightening to me. Now, how do we beat that? Well, one, the offensive line comes out with a chip on its shoulder, and they say, I don't give a damn where we're playing. We're going to be dominant, and we're going to be like the 2016 Dallas O-line, where it was just pretty much perfection all year long. And the defense has to come out, and that offense is capable of, putting up, let's say like 17 to 24 points a game. I mean, that's not great in the NFL, but that's enough if they can shut our offense down to win a 17-3 game, maybe 17-10 if we get a garbage time touchdown. So it's going to be interesting. The Vikings are favored. We won't go too much into gambling. But, one matchup that I'm really looking forward to, I know you brought up the offensive line. I'm looking forward. The Bears can't run the ball, like at all. And it always feels like when a team, I say, oh, this team can't do XYZ, they come out and they immediately do XYZ all over the field, and we just stand no chance. Atlanta can't run the ball. They run the ball effectively, and they beat the crap out of us. Oh, Atlanta can't stop anything. The defense is Swiss cheese. And then Atlanta holds us to, basically no points for most of the game. I mean, they just destroyed us in that game. So it's going to be, hang on, one mo for the road. Phillip Rivers is washed. He can't throw the ball, and then he throws the ball to some no-name tight end 82 times, and they, beat the crap out of us. So It's gonna be a game where it looks like we need this young secondary to step up, maybe jump a couple routes. Nick Foles is not playing the best football. For some reason, I am having nightmares that they are going to bench Nick Foles, or we are going to hurt Nick Foles. And one of two things will happen at that point. Either one, Mitch Trubisky will come in, and for some reason that scares me. I don't know why. I just think this offense.
He might be hurt. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, that's option 2. If he is dinged up, I believe the new quarterback would be, drumroll please, Vikings legend Kyle Sloto, who can't practice well, but just looks like a stud against third stringers in the preseason. So one of those two things may happen where we see Trubisky again, and Trubisky has given us fits just because he's so athletic. I know he's not the best quarterback, but he is athletic. The second option is Kyle Sloter comes in, and you think that kid's not going to be chomping at the bit to throw all over a young, bad Vikings defense? I guarantee you he is, and he's going to tell Matt Nagy, hey, let me throw the ball about 50 times, and let me just start, yeeting balls 80 yards down the field, and he'll start throwing some Case Keenum YOLO balls, and I don't trust our secondary to defend them perfectly. So it's going to be, for me, it's all about this young secondary. I don't know if Dantzler's going to play. We do not have the usual Wednesday night injury report because it's a Monday night game, so practice is, it's going to come out tomorrow night versus tonight. So look for us to maybe tweet that out later in the week and maybe give a couple thoughts on it. But yeah, I mean, it's that this secondary is going to have to step up. And then moving over to the offensive side of the ball, I do think that Chicago's defense is good enough that they're going to be, they know what Dalvin Cook does to people, and I don't think they're going to let him get going. I think this is a bad game for Dalvin. You can't sit Dalvin in fantasy because he's Dalvin damn Cook, but it's one of those games where I feel like he's looking at, maybe 50 or 60 yards on the ground, maybe another 20 or 30 through the air. But this has to be a game where Cousins shows up. This has to be like the Sunday night game against Green Bay a couple years ago where we went in and everybody said Cousins sucked, and Cousins ended up beating Green Bay by, I want to say, 2 possessions. It was 10 or 14 points. So Cousins is going to have to throw the ball, and that kind of plays back into the offensive line like you talked about. They've got to give him time. Chicago won't do it, but give us Khalil Mack versus Brian O'Neill, you cowards. Just let us see it. Just one time. I said this last week on Sunday during the postgame show. We know Khalil Mack can manhandle Riley Leaf. Just let Vikings fans have this, Chicago, please. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Jack, what else is going on in this game that you think raises an eyebrow or two?
Yeah, it's just like I said earlier, it's a game where it's going to be an old-fashioned game, I think, where both teams are going to come in and they want to run the ball down their throats. I know you said Chicago has been struggling in the run game. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think this could turn into more of a game, and I don't know what the weather is supposed to be like on Monday night, but I think this is going to be a closer game, in my opinion, than what the Vikings had last week. And then in Green Bay, they were kind of able to do what they wanted on the ground against them as well. I still think this is a game where I think Dalvin could have a good game. I have flashbacks in my head of a young Adrian Peterson running all over the field I think he had a 200-plus yard game at Soldier Field when he was pretty young. And there's no reason why Dalvin Cook could not do that. I think the Bears, they've been struggling. They've lost like 3 or 4 straight now, I want to say, something like that, excuse me. But yeah, I'm excited to see Dalvin Cook and how he continues. I hope he can stay healthy first and foremost, because we've seen the injury concerns. They're there obviously with Dalvin Cook, but sorry, I just got sidetracked. Thought I got an email. I did not get an email. I got excited.
Yeah, Jack's been watching that email like a hawk, by the way.
Yeah, but it's kind of one of those games where I'm expecting at least one of the veterans to step up and make a huge play. I don't want to give my game ball away. I believe I have defense this week, if I'm remembering correctly, because I picked Irv Smith last weekend. I don't know if
DJ Wanham the weekend before that.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to get. I don't know if you want to get into this or not yet.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and get my mouse moving here. This week's game balls, as always, are brought to you by the number one male grooming company in the entire universe. That's going to be Manscaped. So what I need you to do, I need you to head on over to manscaped.com and just go nuts. Okay? Get the wallet out, get the debit card or the credit card out, and just start spending. Okay? Very valuable products. These things, they're long lasting. I've got the lawnmower sitting in my bathroom right now charging. That thing, again, and I say this a lot, you could try to nick yourself with this thing and it just won't do it. It is the first ever electric razor I've used. Well, it's almost a 0% chance that it's going to give me a nick. Now your experience may vary. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it'll never nick you. It just hasn't nicked me, and I've been using it for a little over a month now. They also have some great smell good stuff for your manhood. So Manscaped, of course, the biggest compliment that we can give you here at Load the Box is a game ball. And the biggest compliment you can get in your life is someone complimenting your balls. So go ahead, head over to manscaped.com, load that card up, spend as much money as you possibly want to. Hey, my fiance just came on screen.
Hi, sorry.
You okay? Is everything good?
I need your keys.
Apparently she needs my keys. This is live TV, people. Oh, God bless it. Anyway, use the code Load the Box, get yourself 20% off. That is just an insane value. And then if you use the code Manscaped Pod, that is Manscaped, like the company name, right there, right? Manscaped, and then Pod, P-O-D, Manscaped Pod. That's going to get you free shipping, so that's 20% off. That is free shipping. That's incredible. And Deb Peterson Day is in the chat saying sounds like a great groomsman gift, and it absolutely is a great groomsman gift. It's absolutely great. Also, Tom Day gave us a thumbs up earlier. I'm assuming that was when I was talking about the offensive line. Oh, when you were. Because, of course, here at Load the Box, we give out the Tom Day Offensive Line Appreciation Award. So go ahead, head on over to Manscaped, use code Load the Box, get yourself 20% off, and Manscaped Pod will get you that free shipping. Now that graphic is off the screen, Jack, you were hinting at it. Who's your game ball going to this week, man?
Yeah, and obviously I think this is pretty clear. I think Jordan and myself are both a little bit, I feel a little bit flustered because, like I said, I keep checking my email and trying to get that confirmed so we can tell the viewers what time. I mean, this is an exciting thing for Load the Box. We've had some pretty cool guests on in the past, but we've never had someone. I mean, there's a very legitimate chance that Zach Wilson is a top 10 pick this year. And there's a legitimate, there's comparisons to Patrick Mahomes. So if we can get him on, we're going to be very excited, and we will bring you A+ content tomorrow. Hopefully it's, like I said, sometime between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. Central Time. But getting into our game balls for the week, I have defense this week. And it's just another one of those weeks where I just have a gut feeling. I've been picking some of the younger guys that aren't as established quite yet. This week, I'm not going to do that. I think this is going to be a week where a veteran presence is going to be needed, and there's going to need to be a game in Soldier Field. Whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win this game, in my opinion, because you can see Khalil Mack coming from one side, and then Nick Foles has not been playing very good on the other side. If you can get some pressure on him and get him uncomfortable, I think the Vikings can force a turnover. And I believe, I think it's been a little while since we've seen him get a turnover. I know last week it was, I don't even remember all three of them. I'm blanking now.
It was Eric Wilson, Harrison Smith, and Eric Kendricks.
Okay, so he had one last week, and I was wrong. I forgot about that, and I spaced out. But my game ball this week, I think you need a veteran to step up, make some big plays, whether that's a blitz out wide or if he drops back into coverage and finds his hands on the ball. I think Harrison Smith is going to have an outstanding game. I think we need to have a veteran presence, like I said. And I think Harrison Smith is going to have one of those big games. The Vikings have had safeties have very solid games over my lifetime. I know going back to when I was a kid, there's always been safeties where there's been some games where they have 3 interceptions. And Darren Sharper was one of them, obviously in jail right now, not good circumstances, but he was fun to watch on the football field when he was playing. But I think this is the type of game where they need someone to step up, and you've seen that fire out of Harrison Smith getting a little bit ticked off at some of the younger members of his secondary. I think this is a game where Harrison Smith's going to be all over the field, looking like a linebacker, looking like safety and coverage as well. And I think he finds his hands on the ball at least once.
I like the pick. I really like the pick. I know we don't typically both give out a game ball, but I'm going to mention Jeff Gladney's name until he gets that turnover. And I don't think it's going to be in coverage. I just have this feeling deep inside of me. Maybe it's the great Manscaped products that have me feeling this way. I don't know what it is. I think Jeff Gladney might force a fumble on Sunday. I legitimately think he might come down. You've been comparing him to Antoine Winfield. Not comparing, but just saying that reminiscent in the run defense, how physical he is. I think he might get down and run support and show his value to Vikings fans. But moving over to the offensive side of the ball, and I will give you a chance to speak on an offensive player since I just spoke on a defensive one. I don't think this is Dalvin's week. I think this is the week where Dalvin comes back down to earth. He's been playing out of his mind. I'd love to be proven wrong. I'd love for him to run for 250. You know what? No, 297 and break the rushing record. But I want to preface this with just saying that I don't know what it is, but Snickers is sending around that chain to people like that do really well. It's like the always hungry chain or something like that. And Jack, have you seen this chain?
Yeah, I saw the picture.
It is
Dalvin
that.
with
Oh
it.
my God, that thing is so clean. Like it's like that cool like Cuban chain with like the big Snickers thing. Oh, that's the coolest thing in the world. And I don't know if it only goes to running backs. I think it just goes to players that have big weeks. And it might stay in house this week. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna say that Justin Jefferson, he seems to either get 200 yards or he gets 50 yards. And I think this is a week where Cousins is going to have to throw the ball. And I think Dalvin's going to get bottled up. I think the Vikings might go down early in this game just on scripted plays. I think the Bears offense will be able to get down the field a little bit on this Vikings defense. Give me Justin Jefferson going off for like $175 and a couple touchdowns. He was on the Pat McAfee show today. Just bringing electricity, talking about how much he likes to play Madden and play video games with his teammates and stuff. Don't know if I've ever played, Justin Jefferson in a thing of Ultimate Team on Madden, but if I have, he probably stomped me. I'm telling you, man, I'm excited about what Justin Jefferson's going to bring to the table. He's my offensive pick this week. And I think he has to be for the Vikings to win this game. I refuse to pick Kirk Cousins. It could be not Kyle Sloto. He's on the Bears practice squad. It could be Sean Mannion throwing him the ball. Justin Jefferson's going to take this game over, I think, on Monday night, excuse me.
Yeah, I like that. That was actually the direction I was leaning, but I'm going to stick with my theory and just assume that one of these tenured veterans is going to make an impact on this game. And anytime, if you can get in the red zone against Chicago and you can get down in that territory, they're going to be expecting us to give the ball to Dalvin. Dalvin is our hot hand. So let's counter that with the exact opposite player of Dalvin Cook, about as opposite as you can get. I have a feeling that Kyle Rudolph is going to find the end zone at least once in this game. You need to find a guy like that, especially in games like this. It's going to be a close game. I'm having visions of his catch in Dallas last year that was absolutely insane.
Oh, yeah.
I think he had another one early in the year this year that was insane as well. Kyle Rudolph is going to find the end zone. Kirk Cousins is going to need to look for his, what did he used to call him? His mattress, if you
He
will.
said it was like thrown into a mattress.
He's going to have to find his mattress in the end zone. Give me Kyle Rudolph finding the end zone at least once. I don't think it's going to be a super high-scoring game. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of sexy stats on the offensive side of the ball, but a touchdown for Kyle Rudolph, and I think it's going to be a big one. So I'm going to give my game ball, or my predictive game ball, to Kyle Rudolph this week. I think he kind of goes under the radar a little bit because we've seen Irv Smith flash. He scored twice. I think he actually got hurt last week, so I wish we did have the injury report, but we don't have
Irv
that
Smith
right now.
got hurt celebrating a touchdown, which is, man, oh man. It reminds me of that time Mariano Rivera in baseball went to rob a home run in batting practice and blew his knee out. And I don't know how serious the injury is. I hope it's nowhere near that, but...
Yeah, hopefully it's not too serious. But Kyle Rudolph, I think he kind of goes under the radar. He's been such a savvy veteran for us for so many years. And I just realized this now. I just picked two teams from Notre Dame who's also buzzing right now with their win over Clemson last weekend. So I'll stick with it. Two Notre Dame players and the Vikings get my game balls this week. And I think they both come up with big plays in this one.
Absolutely, man. I like it. I like it a lot. So now moving into, I think we're going to skip over fantasy football. Maybe that's because I'm doing really bad this year. I don't think we'll talk about gambling. I'm also doing bad in that. But just because we're running a little short on time here, I do think we'll kind of move into how we think this game's going to go. I'll kick us off here really quickly. I think this is a game where Dan Bailey is going to have to be on point. That goes double for whoever the hell is kicking balls for Chicago nowadays. I think this is a game where getting into the red zone may be a lot easier than finishing off drives with 6. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this is a close game. I like the Vikings to lose this game. Unfortunately, I am picking a loss this week. This defense scales me. We haven't beaten them in 2 years. I know last year, week 17, we didn't play our starters, but still, we just haven't beaten them in 2 years. It's a fact. I think Dalvin gets bottled up. I don't trust Cousins at all. Like, at all. I still haven't, found that belief in him that I thought I was going to have this year. He hasn't looked as good as he did last year. Unless Cousins can find something deep inside of him, maybe seeing all these old High School Musical clips of himself, gets him real excited and gets him ready to be singing Pretty Woman all weekend long. I think the Bears are going to win this game, and that breaks my heart to say because I really want to see the Vikings go on a run, finish the season with like 10 wins, 9 wins, sneak into the playoffs, maybe make some noise like the 07 Giants, I believe, or the 08, the 07 Giants, and just be that wild card team that rides it out. The potential's there. I see it on this team, but it does feel like our preseason predictions of this team's going to be mediocre this year are going to hold true. So I'm going to go with Chicago in a 24-17 game. Vikings have the ball late. Cousins strip sack ends it. That's my prediction. That's how the game goes. And everyone will be debating whether it was Cousins' fault or whether it was Riley Reif's. So that's my prediction for the next week and a half on Vikings Twitter / the Vikings game. Jack, how do you see this game playing out?
It's super weird that you just picked that score because I actually have the same exact score written down, but I do not have the Vikings losing. I have the Vikings coming out on top. They find a way to win in Soldier Field. I don't think when you say bottled up, in my opinion, I still think if the Bears are able to bottle up Dalvin Cook, I personally think that still is about 110 and 120 rushing yards for Dalvin Cook. I think Dalvin Cook is way too much of the hot hand for this team right now. I think that Gary Kubiak's system is really starting to click with this offensive line as well. They have the athleticism along that offensive line. We're seeing Kyle Rudolph and Irv Smith be very helpful in run blocking as well. And if they have to take a shot, they need to get that run established first and foremost, obviously, because I think the only way we can see a solid performance out of Kirk Cousins on Monday night is if we can get that play action going for him and give him a couple shots deep to Jefferson and Thielen streaking down the field off of a play action to Dalvin Cook. Because like I said, the Bears, I'm not going to be shocked if they have 8-9 guys in the box at all times on Monday and they make Kirk Cousins beat him because he hasn't been able to do it since he arrived in Minnesota. So I think that narrative changes. I don't know if Kirk Cousins even has a win yet on Monday Night Football.
He doesn't.
If you look at his stats on Monday Night Football, or his primetime stats, they're actually not that bad. And if you go back and look at those games, his running backs have done nothing, and his defense have done nothing to help him either. And I think there's enough to this Vikings offense this Vikings team where I think they have enough options to beat the Chicago Bears. I don't think they're going to make a deep playoff run like I said. I just don't think the Bears are an extremely good football team right now. We've seen them struggle in recent weeks, and I don't think Nick Foles is the answer for them. I don't think Mitchell Trubisky is the answer for them. I will be extremely terrified of playing the Chicago Bears if they go and draft a guy like Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. If they end up losing a lot more games this season, I would be a lot more scared if they landed another top quarterback pick and didn't completely blow off all of the talented quarterbacks in this draft class like they did in 2017 when they drafted Mitchell Trubisky. But I do think maybe this is kind of weird. I feel like the tables have turned back to me being the one that's optimistic, but I just have a feeling that if the Vikings want any shot at the playoffs, it starts in Chicago. This is the game where they prove it. If they can't beat Chicago, their season is over, in my opinion. If they lose this game, the season's done. They have to go into Tampa Bay at 7-5 if they want a chance at the playoffs. So you have to go out and you have to get this W. It's a super important win. I think there's people on this team that are fighting for their jobs, and we're seeing an emergent. We haven't even talked about some of these players, but PFF numbers, I saw someone tweet this today. Armon Watts has been a lot better. The first 4 games of the season, he struggled, and since then, the last 4 games he's played in, I think his grades have all been around the 80. according to PFF, which is huge, because if we can find, even if we don't make the playoffs this year, if we can find a legitimate interior defensive lineman to play alongside Michael Pierce next year, that fills a hole in the draft. And if you see Ezra Cleveland and you keep Riley Reif, this offensive line may be closer. So this could allow for the Vikings to potentially focus on a quarterback next year in the draft class.
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Yeah. So I'm just saying that now we have some pieces on this team that I want to see the puzzle pieces finally sink in and settle, so we can know going into next year, like, this is our chance. This quarterback class is deep. Go out, take your quarterback. Don't bring up the Kirk Cousins talk to me. I don't care if he needs to be if he has to ride his contract out for the next 2 years and you sit the young kid behind it for 2 years. I am all for it, as long as there's an option that we have there, because we don't have it now. It's Sean Mannion, and that's not an option, in my opinion. That's not going to excite the fan base. If Kirk Cousins goes down, this team will be even worse. I know there's still people out there. There's people that are saying they should start Jake Brown, and it's like, come on. I'm not ready to say that. Kirk Cousins is still a good quarterback. We just don't know if he has that it factor to go out and win big moments for us. But I actually have the Vikings winning. I'll end it at this. I have the Vikings winning 24-17.
Yeah, it's funny that we picked the same skull. That's pretty solid. But opposite outcomes in our opinions. We will see who is correct. I am hoping that you are, and I'm not gonna lie, the revival of optimistic Jack has me bummed. I was really liking getting on here every week with you, and your spirits just being crushed and everything just being negative. I thrive in it. I like being a miserable Vikings fan. But moving on from that. Keep tuning into the show every Wednesday and Sunday night. Will not be a post-game show this week. I will be on my honeymoon. Jack might do something solo, but I'm not positive. Follow us on Twitter at LTB Vikings if you want to hear, more about potential, shows that might be going up whenever it's not going to be a Sunday night post-game show. Maybe it's a Tuesday morning or a Tuesday afternoon post-game show, something like that. You can hear about news such as, us having top 10 projected top 10 draft pick Zach Wilson on the show. You can also, just get great Vikings takes, great Vikings news. Jack is just slamming articles out at an insane rate with insane quality. You'd think a guy that writes as much as he does would have a couple duds, and he doesn't. I mean, he is batting 1,000, just big grand slam home run articles every time. Good on you. If you want to get all of those articles, you can also follow him at Jack_H_day. One more time, that is at Jack_H_day. And then you can follow myself if you want to pretty much get nothing, because I mainly exclusively use the Load the Box account. You can follow me at jhawthorne16, just on the rare occasion that I do tweet something out. One more time, that is at jhawthorne16, no E on Hawthorne there. And yeah, I think on that note, I'm good. Big things coming from the show. There are some ideas in the pipeline. Obviously, Zach Wilson on tomorrow. Gonna be a great interview, great thing, sitting down with him and just talking to him about the draft process and this dream season he's having at BYU. And yeah, I mean, just keep tuning in. We'll keep bringing you the content. Once me and Jack get off the air, I've got some ideas that I'm gonna run by him tonight about the show. Just some stuff that I want to get going. So, on that note, I will shut up. I will stop talking. Not pessimistic, optimistic Jack. I will pass it back over to you. Give us your final thoughts. Get me ready to run through a brick wall and give us the skull, man.
Yeah, and I'm going to plug this one more time as well. Make sure you are following at LTB Vikings, because that is where our updates will be coming in tomorrow. I will do my best. I'm like I said, I'm working through this process with BYU football communications right now, trying to get this thing squared away. We had it confirmed for later in the day tomorrow. Sounds like that's not going to work with Zach Wilson's schedule. So we're going to try and get something, like I said, between the hours of 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. If anything falls through, hopefully we can still get him on down the road. But I have a good feeling that we're going to make something work. I've been communicating back and forth with this guy for for a while now, and it seems like we're going to be able to find something. So hopefully we can get that. And like I said, it's going to be one of the coolest shows. It might be. And also, if you're one of those people that like to listen to our shows when they're a little bit shorter, it also will be a little bit shorter. I know it'll kind of eliminate the chances of Jordan and myself being able to go on tangents.
Yeah, hopefully
and
he goes
rant.
on a couple tangents.
Yeah,
I want to
that
hear.
would be cool.
Did you hear that he pretty much called out Aaron Rodgers?
I did not hear
He pretty much said Aaron Rodgers has no swag about him. He, just wears like jean suits and grows a mustache. And I was like, this kid wants to play and I almost just dropped the F-bomb. This kid wants to be a Viking. He wants to come to Minnesota and be the best damn quarterback in this division. Trade up for him, damn it. That's what the Chiefs did. Like, I don't think the fans understand how badly me and you both really want this kid in a Vikings uniform come 2021, man. I mean, he's a stud.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I'll keep it short on the game. I think this is another game. It's a must-win game. And quite frankly, I think every game on the schedule from here on out is going to be a must-win game for the Vikings if they want any chance in the playoffs. If they want a better chance at Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, the games are not must-win because then they're going to start sliding down and lower into that draft. I think our biggest fear is kind of what's going to happen. I think we were right where we said it's going to be kind of a more mediocre season. I think that means we're going to get a more mediocre draft pick. I cannot speak tonight. My mind is all over the place, but I think the Vikings are going to land somewhere in that 12 to 18 range in the draft pick. Like you said, this is the type of year where you have to be okay with trading up and going. You have the picks to do it, Rick. Go up and get your quarterback of the future. Let him sit 1 year, 2 years behind Kirk Cousins. Get into this offense. Let him learn how it works in the NFL. But the time is now. I said it last year that the time was now, and that's when I was still 100%, and I still do. I still have a little bit of it left to me advocating for Kirk Cousins. I've come back to the real world a little bit and said I'm not completely sold that the guy is a complete winner anymore. I want a guy that's going to go out and put his body on. I shouldn't say put his body on the line because I don't want any quarterback to go out and get hurt, but I want a guy that I know is going to want to win and he's going to give it 100%. Kirk Cousins has all the talent in the world. Like I've said before, I want to see that you like that. I need to see the fire out of him. Bring it in Chicago, and I think the Vikings can win. But like I said, make sure you follow the Twitter, follow along tomorrow because we will be updating pretty regularly. I hope I get an email here tonight and can send that tweet out confirming when we are going live tomorrow. But if not, it'll be sometime tomorrow morning. So give it a follow. And I'm looking forward to Monday night. Shout out to Jordan. He's getting married this weekend, so wish him well. Hopefully that all goes smoothly for you.
How fun was it, really quick? I know you were gearing up to say it. I could see it in your face. How fun was it that I get married in 2 days, and this is Delaney's first time being on Load the Box, walking in because she needed my keys.
There, are we back? Did you end it?
I did not end it. No, did you hear me cut you off?
I did not. It just kind of completely went blank.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened. It just glitched up. We're still live. We probably just both talked at the same time. I said, how fun is it that Delaney's first appearance on Load the Box, because she needed my keys, was 2 days before we get married, and she goes from fiance to wife. And I'm sure you did the skull as always thing. So I'll let you do that one more time, and then we'll end the stream.
I did not say anything, but as always, I'll leave it with the most important note of the night.